Hello there, my beautiful Pisces signs. It's Rachel with Dark Knight Coaching. Today's video is going to be a traditional Celtic cross spread that I pull for you for tarot. And then I pull a bunch of oracle cards. So before I get on camera, I meditate with your energy, Pisces. I kind of sit with it, see what happens with the cards and what it's trying to tell me. That's the story. I'm an intuitive reader, so the other divination cards I pull are just intuitively guided. I don't really go by the book. That's just how I am because I'm a Sagittarius. So if you have Sag in your chart, which you probably do somewhere, you'll probably understand. But the energy that I pulled off and the song that I was listening to during my meditation was Eyes Closed by Ed Sheeran. So I'll put Eyes Closed in the title, but I do feel like that's a significant song for you at this time, or the lyrics in there might be resonating with you very strongly because I do feel like you're going through a hardship and a shift in your just lifestyle and your expectation when it comes to your future and planning, and this is kind of a brand new chapter for you. There's a lot of shifts happening, and it's definitely with love, but it's also with like your inner voice, your inner guidance, your expression, and how you're seeing people and things, and just the illusions that you've broken down from the past that you were living in. So let's go ahead and dive into tarot, Pisces, and then if you want to stick around, you can listen to the divination cards as well. So the first card I pulled for you, which was your current situation, it's the Seven of Swords. This is kind of like an escapism card. Like you might be running away from something, but I feel like it's necessary at this time. Like it might be your only option left, and you might be just like carrying the shirt on your back just to try to get away from a situation that's not serving you, or might be toxic or abusive even. Sometimes unfortunately that's what we have to do when we feel trapped or we feel like our back's against the wall. That's kind of how we might have to react when there's conflict, because what's crossing you right now is conflict. This is the Five of Wands. This is all about conflict and changing and shifting and chaos, and I don't feel like you have much of a choice but to move forward, and that's what you're doing. It is difficult, but I do feel like you're starting this brand new journey because your foundation card here is the Fool, and this is the beginning of the major arcana in the tarot, which is basically the first card of the tarot on this new cycle. So you're on this new journey, you're on this new path. It is, you may not feel as happy-go-lucky as this person on this card, but I do feel like it's going to bring a lot of goodness your way. And it's going to make you very stable and sure of yourself and very confident over time. It's not going to be immediate, but it is going to be like a work in progress, because in the past here, you had an option or a choice to make where you were like, is the juice really worth the squeeze? Is this worth staying in? Is this worth being a part of? And I feel like you had to choose to leave something behind in order to move forward. And you had to really, really be honest with yourself, because you have the Ace of Swords here. And this is a card of truth. It's the honest adult conversation. It's saying the things nobody really wants to say, or, things that people know, but they don't really want to acknowledge. And you've had to be brave, and you are divinely guided, and you had to make a choice. So you have progress here as well, because you have the Ace of Swords, and then in your near future, you have the Two of Swords. So you're moving forward, which is a lovely thing to see. And the Two of Swords is about making a choice, maybe feeling like you're a bit defensive in a way. Like maybe you feel like you only have A or B to choose from, but there's actually more options back there. It's just like you may not be able to see everything in this moment because you're kind of in this like fight or flight mode. And when we get in this fight or flight mode, we're typically reactive instead of responsive, and that's just that's a trigger response, that's a trauma response, and that's very normal. So make sure you're not too hard on yourself, and try to take some time to just breathe. I like to recommend meditation, but a lot of people are like, oh, I can't meditate, I could never do that. There's different types of meditation, so you don't have to always just like sit in a room and go like no, that's not what I do. I like to meditate with music. You can use binaural beats, solfeggio frequencies. There's other different types of healing you can do, such as Wim Hof. That's a breathing and an ice cold treatment thing. So, and you can look up like 9D breathing work. That's another thing that you can do that's free. It doesn't cost any money to do these things that I'm talking about. So you might want to look into a couple of those things just to help release some trauma and some stress that you're probably facing because of all of this conflict and change and chaos that's happening. But, you know, the next card I have for you, it represents your power in the situation, which is the Six of Wands. So I do feel like you're choosing to go from these choppy seas into these calmer waters, and it's you're divinely guided. It's like, you know, within yourself, you've had that honest adult conversation with yourself here, Pisces, and you're just like not going to hold yourself back any longer, and which is great. And, you know, how do people see you? They see you as calm, cool, collected, stable, and they see you as very introspective and aware. And that's what the Hermit card's about. It's about introspection. It's about, you know, being self-aware and having that inner knowing, and seeing you come out of like the darkness or come out of a toxic relationship or situation, and they see you moving forward for yourself. And that's the best gift ever, when people can actually see, you know, what you've been able to shift yourself out of. Now, in your hopes and fears section, you have the Eight of Pentacles. So I do feel like you were questioning quite a bit if it was going to be worth the work, because you have the Seven and the Eight of Pentacles, which is progress as well, which is great to see, Pisces. But the Eight of Pentacles is all about like putting in the elbow grease and taking the time and really like trying to put your best foot forward, and it's like dedication, basically. You're really committing to yourself that you're going to do this change and make this change and really put all that you can into it. And I do feel like it will pay off, because you're getting rid of old patterns. Now, the outcome in this situation was the Page of Swords, which is kind of like an immature card. So I asked for a clarifier for it, and I had the Ten of Swords as well. So this is very much so emotional energy, intellectual energy. This is air, which is swords, which is all about our mind space. So this is about how you're shifting your mindset or your perception of people and situations. Maybe you didn't realize how immature or manipulative or gaslighting a situation was, but now you have this like real clarity of like, stick a fork in me, I'm done. Like, I'll never go through that again. I can really see that person for what they are now instead of what I thought they were. And you're really making a choice to move forward, because in your subconscious you have the Chariot. The Chariot is all about moving forward and making a choice. You know, things in this card are like very black and white, and all about progress and moving on. And that's what you're doing here, which is another major shift. Now, with that Page of Swords and the Ten of Swords here, I said that thing about like illusions and facades, because sometimes when we're in love or in loving relationships or things that we think are loving relationships, you might have been trapped in a state of limerence, which is easily confused. But sometimes we build this illusion or this facade of somebody, and that's what we see. And it can come crashing down in odd ways, where we're like, wow, I didn't even realize I put a lens of love on that person that wasn't really there, that they weren't really who I thought they were, but it was how I wanted to see them. So I, gave them the benefit of the doubt, or I tried to find the silver lining, or I overemphasized their positive traits instead of really acknowledging the negative traits and realizing that maybe they weren't ever going to be symbiotic. So the facade, I do feel like, has come crumbling down for you, and that's going to bring a lot of epiphanies to your life, but it's for a good reason, and it's going to hopefully motivate you to move forward and to keep making these choices that are going to help you align to your highest best self, your highest best timeline. And I think that's just being honest with yourself, Pisces. And that's why this Ace of Swords is very, very vital for you at this present time. It's just being very honest with yourself, so then you can be honest with everyone else. Now, that was the tarot, and it's kind of bleeding into the oracle cards. So if you were just here for tarot, Pisces, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being here. Smash that like button. Now, if you're interested in continuing on with the oracle cards, I have Facade, which is tied to your solar plexus chakra. That's tied to your sense of self. That's also tied to your empathetic center, and your narcissistic center is kind of how I like to view this card. We all have empathy and narcissism. It's kind of two opposite ends of the spectrum. So if you're too narcissistic, it's a bad thing. If you're too empathetic, it's also a toxic bad thing. So you kind of need to find a nice harmonious balance of empathy and narcissism, because it's like one side you're a doormat, the other side you're a psychopath. So make sure you're finding a fine line there and trying not to see people through a lens that's not real, which is sometimes hard to do if you're empathic. And if you're watching this video, you're probably empathic, because not a lot of people who are narcissists are able to self-reflect or are interested in self-care or healing or want to know anything about themselves or anything with shadow work or healing or any of those things. So chances are you're probably very empathic. Now, the archetype card I pulled for you was the Crone. I love this card. Whenever this comes out, I'm very excited because it's a witchy card, I guess, technically, but it's also like a card that's tied to the moon. It's tied to the lunar phases. So there's, the maiden, the mother, the crone. Those are the three. That's like the trifecta, the triquetra of the feminine aspects. The other triquetra you can think of as like life, death, rebirth. And with the crone, this is all about wisdom and clarity. And I do feel like you're gaining a lot of wisdom because of the situations that you've been through here, Pisces. Now, you also have the expression card. It says you are ready to manifest your thoughts and transform them into acts of love. So I do feel like despite all of the hardships and the things that you've been through, you're really, really moving forward from your heart space and trying to understand yourself and what it is that you want when it comes to a romantic relationship, because you also have new moon in Libra. So you might be dealing with Libra. A new romantic cycle begins for you, Pisces. So good stuff is coming your way. And then you also have another bonus card came out. This was have faith in your dreams, the waxing crescent moon. So you might want to check out the lunar phases. And you have the tribe. So I do feel like you're going to be getting a lot of you're going to be getting a lot of clarity when it comes to who's going to be in your soul tribe, because as you shift out of this old lifestyle and move into something new, you're going to realize who has your back and who is there to support you and help elevate you and who is not. Now, I also have the I Am Strong card. This is just a confirmation that you have the strength to persevere and to keep going, especially when you're working with this Eight of Pentacles energy. You're very, very strong and motivated at this time. Now, some of you might be dealing with a Sagittarius because the horse card came out, or you might be seeing a horse that might be a significant spirit animal for you. This says find the balance between instinctive and the tamed parts of your personality. So balancing also your 3D life and your spiritual life is going to be important at this time. And then let's see, what else do you have, Pisces? You have act. What do you want? What is your gut saying, and how can you make this happen? Write a list of pros and cons and cut a way through to reach your goals. Instinctively, you will know if it's a good choice. And I do feel like you're really trusting yourself and your judgment at this time, which is great, because when you're in that crone energy, you're really wise and you've learned your lesson, and you're able to not only find hopefully the lesson in the situation, but the blessing as well. Now, the last card I have for you is from my I Ching deck. It's number 19. It says nearing. The greater spirit draws nearer in an ongoing process of growth as you simultaneously pay attention and take responsibility. Harvest happens during the 8th month, but it isn't the end of the process of growth. So stay present to the ongoing cycle and do not only focus on results. How does this one grow, and how can you take responsibility for its development, and what would your greater self do? And this is another 8. So it said the 8th month and then the 8 of Pentacles. That might be a significant time period, maybe something to do with August. But I do feel like you are being asked at this time to really take accountability and help push yourself forward, because only you are going to be able to change your life. You're the only person that can be very impactful when it comes to your fate and your destiny and changing your trajectory. And I do feel like you're taking control and really trying to move your life in a positive direction. So great energy for you, Pisces. That's what I have for you. Hopefully this video helped. If it did, smash that like button. It helps my channel grow, and I greatly appreciate you. If you're interested in a tarot reading, please feel free to reach out. If you're interested in a coaching session, I can do that as well. I'll see you next time.